Give people a few minutes to join. How you doing? Indie Author Magazine.
Hey, Tyler. It says Indie Author Magazine. It's actually Shell Honecker. Hold on. I'll fix that.
How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I can't complain. Just starting the day.
Yeah,
Letting a few more minutes
you're
let into
early. You're earlier than me.
it. Say that one more time.
I said I'm in Texas. You're much earlier than me. My day's
Oh yeah, I already started. Up in the afternoon already.
for sure. For sure. How's
Nah, I
it been going?
appreciate it.
Code? Do you are you I mean I've vibe coded a few paid apps now and I'm loving it. So
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I mean, for me, I've been using it for some time. I mean, I like it. It's a tool that I use like every day, even when I'm not like creating stuff, vibe coding or whatever, just content and other like things that I do, just it's research and stuff like that. Yeah, but I like it. I think it's
me.
a. Also, go ahead, say that again.
Oh, I said same. I use it all day, every day.
Yeah. What kind of apps have you created, like for yourself or like
No,
somebody else?
well, I've got two that I refactored from older, you know, ideas. That
Mm,
was one was a WordPress site
okay.
that I refactored to be. I used Lovable for that one, but I didn't use Lovable Cloud so that I can get it out of there and start using Claude Code. But it is a discoverability site for indie authors. Normally
Hmm.
they're kind of published, but
Hmm.
it will also help them market like Kickstarters and non-traditional ways that they're marketing their books.
Hmm.
And then have another one that is a all-in-one um, AI enabled, although they can turn off AI front end for managing their business. So it does tasks, finance, writing, marketing, social, does pretty much everything. And then it uses for those back end, it uses Airtable and GitHub. So they're not, I'm not storing any of their data. So yeah, but both of those are Claude Code. Both of those are out in the wild now.
Nice. Congrats on that. That sounds interesting. Good morning, Jay Moon. Hi, Philip, as well. Thank you for joining. Thank you guys for joining on a Sunday. I know that's not common, but I was trying to hold myself accountable when I was doing this 30 days of Claude Code. I kind of forgot that people have like kids and other stuff, and I don't have kids and stuff. So I appreciate you. I do have these set for an hour and 30, and I don't mind going an hour and 30 or over, even if it's just us here. But if I probably will do the weekends just to an hour. I'm maybe starting with the rest of them, but who knows? I might just keep it like this. It all depends. But I think everybody's here is using Cloud Call, so that's good. Who's not using HeyGen, I guess would be my first question. Or who may be using HeyGen, but they haven't used the API.
I'm not using it yet, so that's why I'm here.
Okay, for sure. Philip or JMO, have you guys used it? Not using it. Okay. Nah. Okay. All right, for sure. Yeah, I think today will be kind of like a simple one. Won't get too crazy because I think I'll probably run out of my credits. Um, I I do use HeyGen, but I use it more for other clients, and I'll kind of walk through that. But I do really need to use it for myself because I've always been interested in, I have like so much information in terms of like content that I wouldn't mind having like a little AR avatar on a resource page explaining stuff. For me, it would be more educational. But I've used it for when I made voice assistants. A lot of people were doing like proposals with avatars, like recording messages of themselves, just really setting up a lot of automated workflows with HeyGen. I do have a plan to make like a white labeled platform for HeyGen because one, I haven't seen one, which is kind of like, I guess, strange in the world that I live in of knowing people who like white label everything or stuff like that. Um, and then also, what was the other one? I can't think of the other reason. There is other reason, but literally I just can't think of it right now. So first let me share my screen and then I guess talk about like how I got really introduced to HeyGen. So if you look at some of the other videos, and forgive me for the way I'm speaking for other people who will watch this later too, and for uh Michelle, I'll have put the YouTube here. So any of the ones you didn't attend or just in general ones that you don't attend, I will like you can have the recording for it if that makes sense. But my friend Steven, who I've talked about, I work in his community, he's made a lot of automations with HeyGen. And I've been talking about like FFmpeg and this no code architects toolkit API that he made that's built on top of FFmpeg. And with a lot of that faceless content, sometimes we were using HeyGen, or for just other ideas like marketing and stuff. You make a script, make a HeyGen avatar. Maybe you're like trying to pitch your community or something like that. So that's kind of how I uh, dove in a little bit more because I heard of it kind of previously, like in the high level space, go high levels, CRM marketing platform, do a lot of development, build stuff for people there. But what was cool, HeyGen ended up having, I think this was 2024, December. They end up having their first ever event in Los Angeles. And I went there with some people from the same community, my friend Steven's community, and it was pretty cool. They had just kind of did like not a rebrand, but the pricing before was like super crazy. And to even like take off the logo, it cost like literally 10K or more than 10K. It was like super crazy. Basically, they changed around their pricing and I don't want to say made it more affordable, but they definitely opened up the door for like using the API and doing all these things. So it was their first event. It was really big. It was somewhere in Hollywood and got them at like the CEO, the founder, like the guy who built the AP, like runs the API and maintains it. It was a really nice experience. So they ended up, I think after or maybe before, like if you go to HeyGen community, and they're like working on this, but they have a lot of stuff here. But they have like an events page where they, show events or like if you're what's called like a HeyGen ambassador, you want to throw events. So like I will be throwing like in-person events in Los Angeles, teaching about HeyGen, doing workshops and stuff like that. So they also like sponsor events like that, which I'll lead into because I was actually at another event that they just hosted. I think actually if I go back on this was last week in Culver City where they were making people their own AI avatar. This was right here. Yeah. So they were making people a digital twin. And if you don't know about Luma, this is a platform that I'm using to like throw these events, but they also like show other events that are probably happening in your area that you might not know about or virtually as well if you want to like get into some other AI stuff. So it's kind of like a known platform, I guess, in the tech space. But yeah, I go to a lot of events, I network. That's how I meet a lot of my clients. I don't do like ads or stuff. I just really know a lot of people or meet a lot of people and like introduce myself. So I went to this event. I actually met the new community leader of HeyGen, met with her to talk about becoming a HeyGen ambassador. I actually met some people who work for the HeyGen team who were like setting up. the camera and doing all this stuff for your avatar, and I'll show that in a minute. And they were cool. Like I got their personal number, so it's like always cool to connect. I got another, and like five more people that I connected with that like want to build with HeyGen or looking for a developer and stuff. So real cool stuff. I'm always like to be involved, especially like with platforms that do really well. They get like requested in a lot of work that I do and stuff like that. Um, so back to HeyGen. So let's log in here really quick. And of course, any questions, feel free to type in the chat or just come off your mic and mute. So I will admit, I have not been in here since actually that event I just talked about. And even before then, I probably haven't been in HeyGen maybe for a few months. I haven't had a project there, but they. So if you guys hear this sound before this plays really quick, it is going to be terrible because I haven't came back in here to do all the voice stuff yet. And I think what I used to have here is gone. And then to be a little bit more technical, HeyGen, they have different. So I think the main provider, voice provider that they use is ElevenLabs. A lot of people are familiar with ElevenLabs, but you can also use other providers. But what happens with voice providers is that because of laws and like other things that change, they basically like take away voices. So I think just because a lot of time has changed, the voices and stuff that I used to have are just all gone, and it just made like some terrible default voice. But the experience was really cool. They had like a professional camera. Hey, yeah, your digital twin is ready. Start creating videos. So terrible. It makes me cringe. The video and everything else is great. So I'm probably gonna play around with this as I make some like examples of using the API and how I would go about that and go into the API because it is a really like extensive API. Probably will need to clone my voiceover and do some stuff. But yeah, just to show like an example, because of course I think most people will probably want to use their own um um want to use their own like themselves. I don't know why I got caught up in that. Use themselves as like their own clone. And actually, what I think I'm gonna do personally is when I throw these HeyGen events, is it's gonna be kind of like the one that they threw because I have a lot of friends that are in photography and stuff like that. That have cameras like to help people go with like a very nice, like it was obviously this is like really crisp and clean and cool. It was really cool. And I think somebody just typed something in the chat, probably laughing at the voice that was right there that you guys just heard. Yeah, they'll feel it. I don't even know where that voice came from. And when I tried to like go to see what voice it was, because I think they changed some like it says this. Let's say if I went to improve voice, yeah, it's doing like some stuff has definitely changed here. So we'll get into that in a little bit. But I think the next thing to go into and to give a recap, right? So throughout the start of this, on the first day, we edited a plethora of files, and everybody here has kind of been through this. So I could fast forward a little bit. And so first off, that shouldn't have happened. Let me close this folder. We basically made a folder called content, right? And this was us cleaning up our laptop and basically organizing a lot of files that could be used for content. So for preference, this is what I'm going into. For some reason, this is telling me this folder doesn't exist anymore, which that doesn't kind of make any sense. It's right here. And in this folder, I have like Zoom meetings like this, other meetings with clients, courses, like voices that I saved. That's like course material, PDFs, like a plethora of things. And can you guys hear that music? Is that loud? Somebody let me know really quick. Give me 1 minute. Just Sorry about that. Roommates chilling on a Sunday. Okay, so back to this. In VS Code, this is how we use Claude Code. And in this folder, we have a whole grip of content. And a lot of this content can be used to play around with HeyGen or make something. So that's what I'm going to do here. Now, so first, let me just, I need to make something to forever close that chat because I don't like that chat. So first, what I'm going to do is start up my Claude. And I've talked about this a little bit before. I have like a very pre-configured Claude. So usually I need to make sure all of my MCPs are turned off because I will have a bunch of context. So I only have one turned on. That's good. And then how would I go into like using HeyGen? Obviously, I'm not going to be doing stuff in the screen or whatever. Very simple. Just HeyGen API. And first, I'm just coming here because I've already done a lot of this, but just kind of going into like my own brainstorming because a lot of people ask me how I do things as a dev and other things like that. So first off, come straight to the documentation. As a dev, and because I've worked on a lot of projects, I already know what's here, but it is always good to come here and I think just look at this visually, even if it confuses you. Once it confuses you, you can just come here to Claude Code, right? We're already in plan mode. Very simple. We're going to say, hey, I'm thinking about using HeyGen to make a lot of content from what we have inside of this folder. Can you help me come up with some ideas? And you can create a team of agent to explore different ideas, such as looking through the API, coming up with some workflows with the API, and other things like that. And also, we do need to add the HeyGen variable so I can add my API in our .env file. All right, so I use Whisper Flow. I just talked into that because I'm not going to be typing, and I advise you, please, if you're doing anything like this, do not type because it's just not worth it. Find a dictation tool. Whisper Flow is amazing. It saves you so much time. All right, so speak to this in a way where this is going to make some different agents or one agent that's doing multiple tasks to go do a plethora of things instead of wait, because obviously, and I've talked about this in other videos, you can get kind of caught up in like looking at this here. And when you do, what do you really do? So I like to try to, in that first plan or whatever plan, whatever it is I'm trying to do, try to research or look at a couple of different things that, how can I explain it, are like related in this case, right? So that first request would be just, hey, look through our content, look through what we have, what can you identify? Of course, I could say something specifically, but I'm just curious to see what it would do and kind of showing off, how Claude Code might think about some stuff with all this stuff here, right? Of course, all this stuff is labeled training material, business documents. Pretty sure it'll go for the training materials first. I'm pretty sure it's also going to go for I think that training material is, oh yeah, the audio files and stuff like that. Um, and then if you had a different idea, depending on what that is, and I can't think of one right now, you can open up another terminal, start another Claude session, and then think about that idea. Maybe you want to make an interface to use to do this instead of just typing in this terminal. I'm gonna leave that there just as an idea later, not as an interface, but maybe something else. But this is going to do that. And then also, I'm going to include this as a resource later. But I already have done this a while ago. And this is I'm kind of like showing the same thing, but I'm kind of not. So like in Claude Desktop, of course, and believe it or not, I brainstorm a lot in Claude Desktop before I go to Claude Code. There's really no specific reason, even though it's like really the exact same thing, just to get context. Because some people are like, why do you do that? I don't know. I guess I'm just used to it before I used to use Claude Code. But in this case, like I have projects, and these projects can be treated just like, these folders right here. They're no different inside of this folder itself, right? But I have a HeyGen project. And usually what I do with a lot of the things that I use Like as an example, I'm gonna get the API documentation because there's a lot. And let's see, I don't remember this conversation. So like right here is a agent prompt, and this was not specifically for Claude Code. This was actually for a project that I think I can pull up in a minute in 8N, where there was an agent that is connected to Airtable, and then it just makes the content and then stores it in Airtable. Some of these things that I talk about, I've been past these projects off so long ago, so there I forget a little bit, but I think if I type in HeyGen, yeah, HeyGen agent, right? So somebody sends a message, this goes to an AI agent. They, the agent can create a video. It can poll and get the status because, of course, when you create a video, it's not as automatically generated, so you need the ID, and then you store those videos in Airtable to do multiple things, just to give a little context. And inside of here, right, this prompt is literally the same thing that you see uh, right here, right? So usually, just in general, when I'm using any type of API, the first thing I'm gonna do is create like a file of whatever it is. So whenever I'm in Claude Code, whatever I'm using, like it can automatically do that. And the main reason I do that is because yes, it can search up information, but it's just better to keep the documentation. Unless you're using like a platform like Firecrawl where you have automations that are like literally scraping that entire page for you and saving or caching that information. It's just better to take your time, copy and paste the page. Some of these have like this up here, so you can literally just copy its markdown. And before you even do this in Claude Desktop, like of course I'm talking about Claude Code, you could come here and copy each one of these pages and give it to Claude Code and say, I need you to document each one of these APIs. Why? Because the whole point is we want to create some workflows and explore some different possibilities of what there is to do and stuff like that. Oh, and I actually messed up. Sorry, I keep doing that. That is windsurf, something else I'm working on. Let's come back in here. Another project I need to turn in later. So this is still doing this research, obviously in plan mode. Any questions so far about what I just blabbered about the API and going about that? Nope. Okay, fine. So I guess we're kind of just in a little bit waiting mode to see what it's gonna do with this document, this information here. And actually, I'll let it add it itself, but it hasn't added the variable that we're gonna need for our API key. And actually, too, to kind of go in like a little detail of this, because I think earlier I was saying like I was gonna build a white label platform. There's so much information in HeyGen, right? It's actually funny. While this loads, I guess this is like a good little segue. So kind of going into like a developer mindset, right? I'm gonna build now. This is a little bit technical, but like I still feel as if everyone would do this on a lower level, and this is kind of getting into like super prepping, right? uh let's just say you want to play around with different features and different things, different voices. Like there's a bunch of information in HeyGen, right? So I'm going to execute this workflow, which is just going to uh list all the avatars in HeyGen, right? List all the voices. They have something called local voices. They have something called avatar groups. Um, like just a whole group of stuff, right? So if I click into this, and I hope it doesn't freeze my computer, thank God, right? This is how much information I'm not even going to click on it. But if you're used to using N8N, like it's not even going to pop up. That's how much information it is. I just kind of want you guys to think about that. Now I can split up that information, right? Instead of looking at it. You can, of course, you can still see it. I just don't want to freeze my computer right now. But right, this is all the voices that they have. If you wanted to play around with voices or, what else the avatars, here are the voices right here. Of course, you can, this list is long, right? Have to store all of this in a database if you want to make a white labeled platform to be able to offer these to people or do anything. Even if you wanted to use all of this and just explore because you wanted to create a grip of avatars for whatever reason. So it's kind of like, at least I think, some of the thinking that you need to go into, because once again, they have a bunch of APIs. It's just not as simple as like generate a video and kind of like go retrieve that video later. You can maybe you want assets, right? Because you can put backgrounds. You can probably try to generate, do some of that stuff with some stuff I have here, even if it's like a bad version, but just to kind of show the capabilities of the API is the word I'm looking for and stuff like that. Um, so this thing is really thinking here, which is good in a way, but sometimes it's just bad when it's like, do something. And that's without me even putting in, just copying this here, and then putting that right there. And oh, actually, what I can do, I can just publish this, put a link here, and then you guys should, I don't know, I think you guys would be able to grab that and have that. That makes that easy. Wait, you can make an embed code on these now. Oh, that's cool. I didn't know that. That's actually really cool. I did not know that. I wonder when they did that up there. Okay, so I think what it's probably going to do also, um, it made, I think it's going to make a HeyGen agent because it already made agents for this folder in general when doing certain stuff. And actually, just to be like nosy, because I don't like seeing that. This is doing a plethora of things in the background. So I just press Control O just to look. All right, so it's seeing like 17 audio transcripts. I just see once again, I already know it's going to do that. For video transcripts, looking at the variables, looking at the key endpoints, create an avatar, poll for completion, list available avatars, list voices, like same ones I was kind of going over. And I don't think it'll freeze. I think it will just be a giant response, kind of like the same thing. If it hits that API, will it pull all of those responses that I just talked about? Should be kind of fine with doing this. So it's going through the files to create. Um, yeah, it's asking for, right. It's going to add that environmental variable once it does that plan. And this is actually really cool because if you guys don't have, I know I'm like hopefully not going too fast and segueing a little bit. What's going to be cool is I have like the new I don't know if I talked about this in my other videos. Claude Code with the new update that just came out, they have an agents feature. You do have to turn this on a certain way. There is like a command. I don't think, let's just check actually. I don't think if I do slash settings, if you don't know, this is how you can see a plethora of other settings. So I don't think that, yeah, I don't see that here. Yeah, no, it's not there. But there's an agent setting. And because kind of like okay, so this is like a good example here. Even though this says three agents, um, and it's kind of hard to know because in Windows, our terminal kind of sucks. So the features that they kind of added behind like looking at agents is very hard to kind of like test and use. I think I still need like a day or two. But usually when it says agents like this, that means it's like one agent with actual task. And it's doing that um, that one agent is doing multiple things instead of each agent doing individual things independent of themselves, which is the new feature. So actually, hopefully it's going to show that, which is why I think it takes a little bit longer with the plan mode on top of I have that feature. Let me, because I don't want to mess up that chat there. There's a feature called like thinking, which makes like the thinking go longer. I think that's on by default, but I don't know if you do want to kind of come around and change those settings because I do notice sometimes some people may look back at this and like, why is this clock taking forever? Like mine does not take that long. It's just super fast. Well, I'm also in plan mode, just gonna make it plan, and then I also have thinking turned on, which is gonna make it think like a little bit more. But once again, you can do Control O, and then in the background you can see all the things that it's actually doing. So 8,600 tokens, 6 minutes of waiting. Right now, it's going to actually write the plan and then ask me questions, which is funny. Could have made a coffee in that time. Could have made a sandwich, actually, probably. Bowl of cereal. I'm gonna have to put the Jeopardy music and like edit when I edit these YouTube videos with like Claude waiting to come back and say something. And I don't want to not use plan mode because I think that would be bad in terms of doing stuff. So I don't want to install the Python extension. No, I don't want to install any Python extension. I don't think I need one. All right, so what HeyGen plan do I have? I have a free plan. That's good. Do I want to use stock avatars? Yeah, let's just use stock avatars. All right, priority. What content type should we prioritize first? So transcription summaries. Um, let's literally just do all at once. Translation support. No, let's skip that. And then I think it said I needed to be on a plan for translations anyway, which I would confirm that myself, but translations is not unless somebody here specifically says I'll be interested in that to go verify that information. So it's going to update the plan with those preferences. So the translation output, update the plan. And what I also like too, and I wish I can't wait till we like heard, okay, finally, we like have an actual plan of all this stuff. No, it's not that bad. So HeyGen publisher agent, of course, I knew I was going to build an agent, which makes sense because I already have agents here, right? And then this HeyGen publisher can do a plethora of things. Terrible grammar. Claude Power script writing, rule-based fallback. We'll get into that a little bit. So it's looking to see what we have. Duration, auto sorts by length, scenes. Okay. Tier cap 3 minute max. So it's like went through the API and looked at all that stuff, right? So here's it go. Content file, adapter, script, save script, HeyGen client, da 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 da. Technical stuff. Okay, so let's let it have it do that. And then that's cool. A test mode to run without credits, which is funny, but okay. And yeah, this is like what it looks like when I could be wrong. Somebody would have to let me know. When you don't talk in a way for it to like make agents, does it do this same kind of thing? But from my understanding, this is kind of so actually I can do this. It might not be, so let's see in real time. I'm not sure, but can you create a team of agents to do what needs to be done individually? Did you? Please tell me the first thing you did was update this file. No, you didn't. Damn it. All right, it's a great idea. Let's create a team of agents to do this in parallel. I'll start with four independent. It's funny it said file simultaneously, but okay. So that I did that. I just answered my own question. It will look like uh, this just for task, but for the agent, I know specifically now what it looks like. It's still kind of like the oh, that's too much information to show. I'll wait. It's kind of like, yo, it's like this. It's exactly like that. So it'll be like this, and then like these will like glow. It's kind of like weird to explain, but like they'll glow. And what's supposed to happen? Oh, there it goes. You see how it says this Shift+O to manage? So it's like, I mean, shift up and down. That's how you would go in and actually be able to like message that agent individually as well. So is it Shift plus? Well, that's a lot. No. Did I do it wrong? So I'm just typing in here and I'm not doing anything. Huh? And it's funny, it says running for local agents. So let's actually click on that. If I click into it, oh, I will have to try to figure that out. But I don't get it. It won't let me shift up, shift down. Yeah, it doesn't do anything. On the on the agent thing. Yeah, I don't know how to like and that's what I'm saying in the instructions. It says so our the Windows term, I don't know if you have a Windows or not, but I know on Windows it like sucks. And what could be happening right now is it could be a bug. I'm not sure. But if you're on Mac and you go to, I'll like let that do that real quick. Let's dive into Claude Code Docs.
I'm on a Mac and I can't get it either in the CLI or in VS Code extension to do that.
I got you. So I don't know if you've seen, give me a minute and let me look because I come here all the time, but I cannot remember where this one specifically was. We're talking about the agent, so that would be under configuration. And then it would be under because Mac, you can use a different, you can use something called tmux, or basically it's like a different terminal that will like actually allow for that to was it in the beginning and
I use Warp, so maybe
uh
that has something to do.
it could, but I think you should still be able to do it. So yeah, this right here is what it talks about. Wait, where'd it go? Is it more down? Yeah, these two right here. Timu. So iTerm, I think, should work for you. I could be wrong. I could put this specific page right now and think for you. But I would try that. But you could be right. Warp could be interfering with it. I don't know if that uses like the default Mac terminal, even though you're like in that IDE. But yeah, Windows right now, we're kind of stuck. So okay, did it add this now? Oh, you know what happened? It probably if I press close. Oh no. Oh, I didn't update it. It's gonna update it right now, actually. Okay. I do close that because I always find like this weird bug whenever I have the file open and then it makes an edit to for whatever reason, specifically environmental variables. Uh like there's this weird overwrite thing that like doesn't update it, and then you gotta waste like 5 minutes telling it to update it, or even if you paste it back and save it, it like has a weird time reading it. So I like to make sure I just am not on that when it's about to do that update. And actually, I need to go grab my HeyGen API key. Admin, we got settings. Well, well, I already know right here, but also I can just save all my keys. Oh, maybe I didn't. Oh, okay, never mind. Can I not create a new key? Am I looking somewhere wrong? How was I able to create this one here? And I don't see a button and create another one. That's am I missing something? Oh, okay, it's fine. Just regenerate them back to back. So it's doing everything but literally not do the variables. What are you doing? Okay, compacting. See, in that time, in that whole time, you could have just. Can you please already update the .env file? That's so funny because in all my other conversations, that's like the first thing it does all the time. Trying to think of anything else in terms of like workflows and stuff outside of this or other things. I said there's a lot of I said a lot of people I know. So I don't use ElevenLabs a lot. Um, I just because I've done so much work with them, like they're so expensive. Um, because they charge you per character, just really different than charging you per word. I do use Cartesia, but I can't even demo them right now because they something's weird with my account or they changed something and I need to wait until their customer support responds. But there are a plethora of other voice providers. If I'm right, you can always bring your own voice provider uh, to use if you don't want to use ElevenLabs. I think another thing that I see a lot of people don't know is that you can put backgrounds, like you can have assets. So I know that they just came out not too long with like this studio agent thing that's supposed to be like on the front end in the interface. And that's kind of like basically what we just created in a way. But when you think about like that would be my inspiration for like a white label platform, right? So you have this agent that you basically have a database that has all of your assets there, and then it would, right, you would either have an avatar, different avatars that you would assign different things. I don't know, maybe you're super technical and you have one for marketing, you have one for education, you have one for consulting or proposals and different things like that. But um, you know, you could have all these assets, your voices, everything kind of prepared, and then be able to just have it make stuff for you. Okay, so it finally updated this. Thank you. Let's take that API. And I'm not, I think it has a default there, even though I haven't done that. All right, so it's ready. So what can we start with? Usually I would start a new conversation and clear that context, but I really don't kind of care at this point. Let's see. I already added my API key. Discover available avatars. So let's do this really quick and cheap. Let's, I, I'm going to assume that's the ID I need, 'cause I'm pretty sure. I hate when they change kind of some of the words. I'm gonna assume what that is. And then let's do, so this is what kind of confuses me. I know I can click on that to go to the voices, but there used to be a literal just voices page right here, but I guess that's gone. So if I click into this, I gotta come back right here. I don't get it. What is the difference? These are both mine. So let's see.
Hey there, here's how I sound. Hope you
Definitely
like it.
not a girl.
The right voice brings avatar videos to life.
It's actually not a bad voice.
Hey there, here's how I sound.
But they don't sound British.
Hey there, here's how I sound.
Okay, I'm already forced to clone my voice again. I wonder if this will interfere. No, I can't upload anything. Why can't I just use like right now on the mic? Maybe I gotta come here and do it. Third party. What? No, what? Hmm. I'm trying to think of like a really easy way to do, and I might just have to just stick with this for now. I can't think of any video right now that I have with just my voice. I do not have one.
Hey there, here's how I sound. Hope you like it. The right voice brings avatar vid.
Hey there. Here's how I sound.
That,
Hope you like it.
that
The right
sounds like
voice.
a scary movie.
Hey there, here's how I sound. Hope you like it. The right voice brings.
Reassuring
Hey there.
Rupert.
Here's how I sound. Hope you like it. The right voice brings
Thanos?
Hey there, here's how I sound. Hope you like it.
That's
The right
Thanos?
voice brings avatar videos to life.
All right, let's just go with
There, here's how I sound. Hey there, here's how I sound. Hope you like it. Hey there, here's how I sound.
we'll just keep marking.
Hope you like it. The right voice brings avatar videos to life.
Hey, admin, that voice is still the wrong. Is this voice not being? What am I missing here right now? Did I not just say use that voice? Okay, hey Jane, you kind of duping me.
Hey there, here's how I sound.
Click.
Hope you like it. The right voice brings
I did
avatar
for
videos to
all
life.
looks. Hey, admin. This is literally still. What am I
Hey there,
missing?
here's how I sound. Hope
Okay,
you like it.
thank you.
The right voice brings
Now that would be the voice. Oh, goddamn. This is not what I don't want. I don't want to go into AI Studio and do this. Yeah, yeah, I know, I know, I know, I know. That's still not what I want to do. Do I have to wait for the whole 5 seconds to load before to? Okay, no draft view. I'm sure you guys said in the chat real quick. Yeah, let's see really quick. So I have, if you don't know, if you go to DeepGram, it gives you like $200 in credits. I feel the same way. I do not like the voices on on HeyGen. But I know for sure, I'm really trying to think right now, do I have videos of just my voice by itself and to put in there? And I do not. And not even that, it wasn't even letting me switch really. So this is right now, if you go make an account, you need $200 in credits. So let's see if we could use our brains really quick here. That was a good point. Where would voices be? Uh,
Your lab results show elevated cholesterol levels of 240 milligrams per deciliter. Your lab results show elevated cholesterol. Your lab results show elevated cholesterol levels of 240 milligrams per deciliter.
I actually don't mind Atlas. So let's just do something really quick. I don't want to use ElevenLabs actually as a voice. I want to use DeepGram. Do you need to add my API key? Because really quick, what's this download for? To like actually download this voice? Oh, okay. But why would you need to download? I just need this. Yeah, I think that's the ID that I would use. I'm just trying to figure out how would I use that before I go to the documentation. Apparently this might already know that though. And I already got a perfect script and everything already lined up. Okay, I made a mistake again. Sorry, guys. If you guys catch me in that windsurf again, just yell real quick off your mic. Before I make any changes, DeepGram is primarily speech to text. Do they also have, oh, uh, so you know what? I guess we would have you, yeah, close that all the way. We would have took that, right, and came back here. Please leave this. Uh, come back here. I don't get when I click this though. Why is it still the first voice that it was is what I don't understand, even though this is selected. Just actually, what if I do that? And then I think just really quick, I would have, oh yeah, see this, I don't get why. My cartoon, see, it only allow 11. Where was I just at the one out right here, right? It was this. So I would have taken, I don't know if this file is 2 minutes, though. 'Cause, 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 'cause I don't even want to investigate that because I literally wouldn't doubt that that would be like a you can't upload that here. That's I'm just trying to think of a different way in my head. So if I press this now, this should literally be Andrew. You're digital. It's literally not Andrew in my name. I'm mind blown right now.
Hey there, here's how I sound.
Yeah, bro, that's not the same voice. Hey, admin. Oh my God. Do I have to? That doesn't make sense. Okay, I guess we're literally just gonna have to try to ignore that the best way we can. And maybe I just have a bug or something like that with that being stuck there because
Hey there, here's how I sound.
wait, I thought this was the video already. See, this is why I don't like being in the interface because it's literally way too confusing for me. Like it doesn't make sense. And I know they just remade all of this stuff here, but I do not like it. So we're gonna have to okay, I gotta stop doing that. We're gonna have to deal with that one right there. Okay, no, that's fine. Let's just use the no code ops material and create a video through the API. And I want it to be as detailed and use as many options, parameters as possible. Just to go into that of what I'm talking about. All right, so it's gonna look into that, and I take it off plan mode, so it can just hopefully, even though it's still gonna look for stuff. Content extractor, content. Oh yeah, but that makes sense though because it made agents to like do those specific things to pull that stuff back. Which literally this whole kind of thing can turn into like a content app. The only difference is that whatever resource that you want to use, you would just always upload that into like S3, basically a storage, where all that stuff could be at. And then it literally would just get classified, categorized, uh, labels, tags, metadata of all that. And then you would have agents go through and like make the script, do all that stuff like in parts that would then just feed to that API. And then because they allow you to do a webhook system. You can set notifications to when videos are done or when they fail and other things like that. Or I know some people are like trying to like remake other people's content with their avatars. So they're like pulling their videos and doing stuff like that. So yeah, it's going through all those parameters and really quick. Even though I could have just gave it that document, I'm just letting that do its own thing. But if we were to go back to create a video, oh, this is with the agent. So, oh, that's interesting. They have an endpoint for the agent. And this is kind of what I was talking about. Yeah, asset ID, upload to the asset endpoint. Huh, I wonder if there is let's answer my own question. Upload to media file. What's the storage on this? Like, how does that? I'll probably have to ask the HeyGen team an actual question on that. So you can upload audio file, video file, of a web, MP4, and images. But what is the limit of created under your account? If more than 100 assets are available. Oh yeah, I need to know that. That's actually really important because like if you have your own database, that means basically you wouldn't everything in there, even though it's an asset, you wouldn't be well, no, that's not true because if we come back here into the create a video, I just want to occasionally check on this. Okay. Oh, and that's what I mean. You see how this is like highlighted? It's doing that independent agent thing, and we should be able to switch in between them, but we can't. Don't know why. So if I come down here to like all these parameters, right? So we have a whether to enable captions, titles, a callback ID, like I said, for a status of those videos. Um, and hold on, this is making me look terrible because there's definitely way more options, or they just made it simpler. Oh, okay, yeah, I'm like, I know I'm not. Voice, yeah, I'm like, because there's four different objects, so there's no way. Okay, so before I start being like super confusing, looking at this from a dev perspective, wow, this does that. But it, and if I'm being too nerdy, let me know, guys. But I think it's also important because one of the main things is like, of course, like the AI can explain it to you. Of course, my background is just understanding APIs because I'm a developer. But it's good to know um, like what's possible and other options because it's super easy to miss. And what I usually find when people are trying to develop things is like usually whatever they're having a problem with is a missetting in this API. And usually what happens just from like a more technical perspective, almost all the platforms we use do not show all of the settings usually that are being used by the API, right? Because of course, when I go into HeyGen and I do any of this stuff, it's of course using this same API here, but this is not meant to be super technical, which is why, like, for me, I struggle in looking at front ends. I'm just an API person and I can make like my own workflow and way of how I want to do those things. Right. So we can even see like you can make a talking photo style, circle, non-circle, you have avatar styles. But what I was looking for was like for instance, in the background, right? You can have a URL. So URL, the uploaded image. You know what? So I would have been wrong. You will still have a database, but it doesn't, the database is more for you uploading it, and then it just automatically uploads to HeyGen, and whatever ID that you get, you pull that back into your database, and then you reference it like that. It wouldn't be referencing your actual database. I'm not sure if that makes sense, but that's very important to know because it seems like HeyGen API, if you want to use other assets, it has to be uploaded to them. Then we have text. You can even be specific with the font family, the font size, weight, the position. There's just a grip of things there. So let's come back here and maybe let's see where we're at. Okay, the big upgrade. Let's use all the HN API parameters. What was it saying? Okay, yeah, so it already grabbed my API key. You can see that's there. I just want to go back and see what it did. So looked at those transcripts. The A10 API has way more. Oh yeah, basically, because this is exactly what I'm talking about. This is dang it, that response is what I mean. So when you're like developing some stuff, this is really what happens, right? It will say like it'll do an integration, but it will be like the least amount of parameters. And usually, I promise you, a majority of the time when I'm building, that is what somebody's missing, or to make your application work the way that it's supposed to. And so, okay, we're still just doing some updating here, making sure we have all that stuff. And then more than likely, it's going to take these transcripts, right? So if I went back to where actually are transcripts and extracted content, maybe no. That's interesting. Maybe I'm having a slow moment and I can't see. Where? Blah. These transcripts are already like literally in the best format that we could think of for this, with literally start time, text time, timestamp. So going back to like the other things that we did with the No Code Architects Toolkit, which is basically FFmpeg, which is also great for this HeyGen stuff, is like already having this prepared. And to give like a little bit of more technicality, if I go to the NCA toolkit, when you use the transcribe endpoint, skip past it. You can actually get a what's called an SRT file, and an AS file, which is really funny. It's called an AS file, but it's gonna give you. I'm just showing this endpoint here, but it's gonna give you. These are like all the options for what you can do when it's transcribing and basically what kind of output do you want. But you can get basically this same type of output here where you have the start time, where they exactly talk, doing all that stuff. And once again, that's in like beyond super important for content, especially when you want to automate stuff and get the information about a file or how long something is. If this API only supports, let's say like 500,000 characters, you can, already basically be building in a way where you don't uh, break the rules of the API and basically get errors or doing any of that stuff. So what does it say? No voices have emotional support on the free tier, but we can still use all other parameters. Let me generate the video with maximum detail. Alex in a black suit avatar, Andrew voice with all options are enabled. Okay, that's funny. So I think it's actually probably going to try to make a video right now. Any questions about all that babbling? Because really all I'm talking about is like, I guess, workflow mindset with like an extensive API like this. Because like I said, I think on the surface, it's like, oh, just generate a video. But I think really for like almost anyone, when you go into like automating this workflow, especially from that assets as standpoint, right? Depending on what type of content. So very simple, like I want to create educational content. I go make a background in Canva or something, like whatever it is, or generate a picture on Nano Banana, right? Then I can take that asset, upload it, and now I can make like these workflows where I can go through all of these assets, assign them in this process of making like the video that I want HeyGen to make, which I actually think is like, that's the icing on the cake, to really be honest with you. So no questions, that's fine. So yeah, let's have this do this. Thinking of a way to make this a little faster. Because what I did before, or what I usually do, or I've actually done all of these, but I don't think I ever actually implemented them. Thinking back to like that N8N automation that I showed. You know how when we come back to the API, there's basically 4 objects, and objects basically mean like 4 important values that kind of like dictate everything in the API. So we have background, we have text, we have what is this video? Right, yeah, super simple. What was I about to say before I lose my train of thought? Oh, because these are like separate, I would have the AI. So like you can have either the AI do it automatically for you, or it would ask certain questions, and I would basically have it do that in 4 steps. First, it would make sure all the character stuff was right, all the voice stuff was right, then the background, then the text. To be honest, I'd probably have different agents specifically for all of those things, not just one agent messing with all those parameters. But of course, right now, while we use Claude Code, it's just like one Claude Code doing all those things. But I would make specific for content. I would definitely make like very specific agents handing things off to each other instead of one agent trying to do like all of those tasks. I do think like the output is way better doing it that way. So this must be doing I can't even do a Control O to actually see in the background because is this a script? Well, I think it's like making a. That's the only thing about when you don't have a front end. It is like I don't want to say actually I don't want to say it's slower because I don't think it is. It just feels slower just looking instead of being able to actually interact. I don't know if I'm the only one that feels that way. So yeah, at least want to create like 2 or 3 videos. And I'm curious if and I also too like one thing to know, I haven't been really specific with this. For all I know, this could be using this whole like all this information here, which actually is very small, but just go ahead and probably actually use this TXT file because here we go, right? Transcript with timestamps. That's everything right there that it would need to do that. And then I could also just say, hey, what are you doing right quick? Usually it responds faster. It must be trying to finish whatever it's doing right there with that request. Oh, and then it made it run in the background now. Okay. Or maybe a time. So is it saying like it made a file instead of running this? Ah, okay. I think that's what it did. I think it just made a file that it, I don't want to use the word activate, but instead of making a script, which it can't really make a script because the script would, well, it can be. I can tell it to make the script dynamic so it's not hard coded. Sorry, I'm being a little technical here. Just want to go through like what is Claude Code is actually doing. So we're waiting for the task, even though it needs no task. It's probably building out the what you call it. So if I come to videos, these are like all test videos, right? Different stuff. So usually when it says that waiting for tasks, that means it wants something to interact with. I just want to confirm that you're actually making the body for the API request and you're going to send it. I'm not doing anything. Yeah, I think it's waiting for me to interact with something, but it's not, there is no need for me to interact with anything. Yeah, it is. So let me press escape when it says that in a active thing. Whenever it says task output and then it says something about like interactive, just always escape because yeah, I don't need to, yeah, I don't know why I was doing that. This will build the full body API. See, I knew it was just building that. I mean, that makes sense, but I wonder if I tell this to run in the background, will it be faster? No, it's doing the same thing again. That's so weird. Hmm. Let's see if I can do a shortcut really quick. And oh, I don't know why I did that. Last time I looked this up, I was actually supposed to make a HeyGen MCP because when I went to look at this, it was actually very limited. Oh, this says updated 10 days ago, so I could be wrong. And that's why I don't try to make MCPs all the time because more than likely, most of these go, nope, this says 10 months ago though still. Jesus. And we have, are there any actual pull? There are pull requests here. Hmm. So I'm being a little technical here because I know, obviously people will want to do a lot of things with Cloud Code and MCPs are a big one. I make a lot of MCPs, but I really do understand that most companies will make their own. Now, when I guess thinking about should you still make your own in cases like this, and I'm not trying to bash HeyGen at all. You have Yeah, exactly. No development in 5 months. Took the words right out of my mouth, right? So, and this is important because maybe once again you're gonna decide like, hey, I want to use HeyGen, or maybe I want to build a platform because I understand like how HeyGen could help create content for other people. Whatever the case may be, like these things are really important. So one, like they're not even working on it, which is very odd and confusing because at the end of the day, you don't want to build something and then HeyGen comes back and then built it. The only reason I say that is because like I don't want to use this data and authorization thing, but like more than likely it would be good to use the company who built something. But in this case, I would build my own MCP server because this is actually very bad, and I don't even. Yeah, I feel like this is still the old way MCPs work too. It's not even like updated, and I don't even want to get into the technicalities of what I'm talking about with that. The SSE or the two different type of ways that you can use an MCP server. So this is for some reason still having a problem, and I kind of understand why because it's trying to make a file, then it's gonna like use that file to make an API call. So I think I might be understanding what's happening. Are you trying to create a whole file and then make an API call with that file instead of just making a normal curl request? Curl just means API request, HTTP request. Because there's no way this should have taken that long to literally just make an API call. Yeah, so stop that thing again and then I spit that because it keeps trying to got to get caught up in seeing that because that will make you wait a long time for no apparent reason. That's really the only thing that it will do that when it says that like wait for more instructions. That means it's like waiting for you to do something or go to a page or do something. But yeah. Oh, it said that wait, let me check that. Okay. It actually said that video was generated. We're just waiting. When it might, I mean, but we shouldn't have been waiting that. Why is that draft though? Is that because of the studio thing? Oh, gee, I don't want to see the studio thing. I do not like it. It has to be this. So what's my error here though? This is the thing. It doesn't like even allow me to click and see what that is. And there used to be more information on.
Hi there. Today I want to talk to you about no-code operations intro. Hey there. Welcome to this lesson on nocular operations. My name is Alex, and one of the co-founders of 9x.
I wondered if because literally this person is named Alex that it picked somebody named Alex. But what I'm more concerned on is
That covers the key points about no-code.
there's something definitely going on here, and I can't pinpoint it because is it this studio or is it something else? Because if I
Hello, sample video.
even though that voice should not have matched her, right? With like, and hopefully just to kind of get into like how I'm trying to troubleshoot and see what's wrong or what's going on. Because one, this does not, oh wait, this is how they want to troubleshoot. So is that why I got the error? Because I was trying to generate in a resolution that I don't have. Look at that. There you go. Okay. Wrong polling endpoint. So it's kind of good when like, I like it. So, because there's a lot of things I want to show throughout the whole point of all of these. It's just using Claude Code and brainstorming and doing different things because everybody's going to come up with their own workflow, even though I'm just showing how I would do that in my present situation. But I guess the main thing is like people run into problems and it's not a matter of like Claude Code will do it itself or fix it itself, but it is good of having a process of you also knowing how to do that or developing that. And that could be kind of just exploring the front end like I was just doing or asking Claude and Claude would end up catching those things. All right, so now it's saying let's rerun this and let's do that. And I also do that because I don't want to make videos that seem like just using Claude Code is perfect with whatever tool and then you don't run into any problems or anything like that, which is very far from the truth. So let's just delete these. And I'm not gonna click on those because yeah. So funny, you can kind of see this while this is loading. What I should have actually had it do, I gotta stop doing that, Jesus. I should have had it make two separate API calls or three separate ones at least. The script was generated, fallback mode says anthropic key was required. That makes sense. Claude Code itself is going to do that. Ah, I see what's happening. Because once again, this folder is like in other videos, we were doing certain things with I guess like making a script and stuff, or maybe it had ideas itself. It is asking for my Anthropic API key because it created something where it's just gonna hit the Anthropic API key and generate a script instead of Claude Code making a script, which could also attribute to why this process is taking a little bit longer because Claude Code is actually using itself to do some of these things instead of me just hitting using the API to use Claude. Oh, so I think that's literally just pulling from. But the thing is, we got to make sure this doesn't get stuck because I remember when I used to do a lot of API testing, that used to just be like stuck for no apparent reason. Now I can't even see like what percentage it was on. At first, it was on 38. And I will actually probably be at this webinar if you guys see this. I usually join like a whole group of things because I will probably be talking about this experience and trying to get feedback. But I know they just made a lot of these updates because Video Agent is new and stuff like that. But we gotta stop doing that. I literally did that like 4 times in a row already. Such a force of habit. This is just processing and waiting on this same status. It seems like the status is not moving at all. What information are you receiving back? I'm curious. Is it the percentage or you're just polling in general? Good for me to understand that as well. I think it's just polling. Okay, now this is working. All right. Did it just go from 41 back to 40? Hmm. I click this plus sign. Okay. Design with AI, design with a person. I'm really still curious though. Why did it pick? Where's the ID for this person? But see, okay, this is another thing to know too, because like this avatar, and this is gonna sound weird, and I could be wrong. Somebody correct me later in the comments on YouTube. Like, HeyGen they have different avatar types. So I think that's why when it made the previous API request with those videos, that it was that other guy and not this ID look, because that might be a different type of avatar. I'm really upset like it doesn't keep showing the percentage right there. It's kind of annoying. Mm-hmm. That actually really makes me um upset. Can you make another video and make a request this time, maybe with just minimum information? I just want to see the agent being used. That actually is really my main goal. Yeah, see this right here. I have to talk to them again about this. This is still happening. So I remember even when I was doing these tests a long time ago, even with them being 2 seconds, 3 seconds, short testing, this same thing. Yep, and then they would do this frame thing like that. Yeah. I don't think they know this is happening. Uh, okay, maybe that just means because it's ready. You got to move your hands this time, though, buddy.
Hey there. Today I want to talk to you about no-code operations intro. Hey there. Welcome to this lesson on nocular operations. My name is Alex, and one of the co-founders of 9x. How do you teach you throughout this lesson? In this lesson, we're going to cover 6 questions. What is nocular operations? Does it work? What are the benefits of this approach? What are the different building blocks that make no-codops? How can you become a nocular operator, and how can a company embrace no-code?
Okay, granted. We do. So I understand why it's getting that wrong, right? And that's because of this transcript, which at the end of the day would be upon us to go through and fix this, which is super easy, right? Just to like clarify that right there. But would we give me some numbers? Let me know what you guys. I don't think this is actually bad, even though this is not with me. Hand movements are okay. The voice not bad. The mouth, I think, could be like 5% better. But I don't think it's that bad. Now I wear glasses, y'all. I have very terrible vision, even up close. But I feel curious to see. So one more thing I just want to test. So this actually, oh my goodness. If I had $1 for every time I went in there, you guys will have like $6 right now. Yeah, for sure needs some tweaking for sure. And this was with no tweaks, right? That's it's not bad. Besides the grammar thing, which is something that I would have to. That's why I kind of wanted to point that out. This is all on us, right? And this is an easy fix to make sure grammar is not a problem and spacing and all those things. But I thought it was good. And then it just did another one with minimum parameters. What was I about to say too? Yeah, head movement is good and stuff like that. Oh, that's what I wanted to say. I was gonna say really quick. This is really good, but for some reason it's not using the agent look that I put, which is this. I think I already I copied that, right? Actually, I don't even know if that's the right one because I don't even know what I just copied that made that right there. But let's go back. Let's try this one more time. Yep, I almost gave you guys another $1. Oh, it was the right idea. Okay, I just have to make sure. So I made another one. Oh, at least it said it did. It's not loaded. Oh no. Da-da-da.
Hi there. Today I want to talk to you about does no-code operations work? Before we dive into our detailing to no-codo operations, does this approach work? Are there examples of companies who successfully leverage no code ups?
Yeah, so definitely, I already immediately can tell what I like and don't like, besides the obvious of the voice and the text. It's just too much hand movements and stuff. But this kind of angle does show me what's going on. And for reference of why I had so many hand movements in this is because I was literally so like when you made this avatar, because at first they had some stuff like set up. I think they already had like a script for you to say or do something. It came to the point where they're just like, hey, for 20 seconds, just make up something. And this was like literally the few days before I started planning for this. So literally what I'm saying in the actual video that was recorded was like, hey, I'm here at the HeyGen event. My name is Tyler Miller. I'm a developer from Los Angeles, and I want to invite you to the Claude Code for 30 days event and yada, yada, yada. And that's what I'm doing stuff. Um, but yeah, that's not too bad. One thing that I don't know, I do know, but to check. Um, And also, what we would do in this case, just to give a heads up, is we could no, that'd be too technical to even talk about it. But we could use this webhook locally. You could just ask Claude, so you could be notified when those videos generate, and you don't have to guess. Really quick, just to talk about this credit system. I can't remember how it works entirely, but I know like depending on like, yeah, they do credits. I don't want to say weird, but like a video is not a full credit all the time. Now, granted, really quick, I don't know if they've changed that because you can see this has been significant time from when I ran an API request, and all of the other projects I've done, I'm using my client account and they don't have a free account. So I'm not really monitoring those credits just to give a little feedback. But before, basically like a lot of credits were like videos were not full things, or maybe you can measure it based on like this duration that you're seeing here. 1/4 of a credit or something like that. Maybe every 25 seconds might be a good metric to go off of. Um, but besides that, anybody have any questions? I think that was kind of just, once again, an overall view of how you use Claude Code with HeyGen to generate some content with the API. In this use case, it was just files and content I already have on my computer, and I already happen to have a avatar because I went to a HeyGen event and they actually made that avatar there that you see me with. Of course, the major things to improve on, which I have just because I've been setting up for this and other things, haven't had the time, but cloning my voice. So that means, getting a mic, talking in a mic, or finding videos where it's only me speaking. More than likely, I'll just be talking into the mic. I find that like way easier. Upload that to have my own voice. And then I think it's just really a matter of, you know, I think it's good to get a photographer. Not that you couldn't do this with a desktop camera, or even like the camera I have here is like a 4K actual kind of thing, but I think using like an actual DSLR camera or something like that, paying a photographer to take some pictures and then use that. Because I think you can even just like upload pictures, even if it's not videos of you talking, and it can still make something and going from there. Um, but yeah, does anybody have any questions or anything like that? Yeah, Philip, I do know what Noir is doing. Now, I don't want to say new to that. So first, let me go into that. I can like so, and I don't know if you know, uh, like have her on YouTube or anything like that. But if you go to LinkedIn, so I'll answer that question in three different ways. So for her specifically, right, she's actually putting out. Why did it do that when I clicked on her? Like she has like this right here. which I believe she's like literally exactly showing people what she's using. If I'm right, it's just Google Cloud, so GC, Google Cloud Bucket and all that stuff. And it says she's using Superbase. Well, in here it says Superbase as well, but I don't know if that means that. So that's answer one, real quick, right there. Two, my friend that I talked about, because what I'm going to say is going to wrap back in this third answer. Two, my friend that I told you about, Stephen Pope, also, so he was, if and I swear I'm correct, he was one of the first people to make content on like the faceless videos and stuff like that. I think his first one that went viral is like at the same one popping up. I don't know why that video is not popping up, but I'm very sure it has like 250K minimum. But he has different basically things going through that. And in his videos, he's not even using databases like Superbase or Postgres in general. We're just teaching people how to use Airtable as a database to make content like that or faceless content. So to answer your question, it's really a matter of when you go into what you'll need is sources. I mean, first off, a database, because in that database, you're going to put your sources. Then it's a matter of like, what are you using to generate content? So Nano Banana, text to video APIs. How are you going to cut that up, concatenate that? I think maybe you were here, you've heard me talk about FFmpeg or the NCA toolkit, which is an API built on FFmpeg that would help you do those things. Does that answer the question? I hope so. Uh-oh, I made the chat go blank. Yeah, yeah. But yeah, if you go to her LinkedIn just to get like you could try to screenshot that and take that back. And all those are solid. Like she's trying to do 100%, free everything. So if you've never made an account with Google, you get credits and stuff like that. But even with a free account with Superbase, you'd be able to do the same thing. But I guess my really core answer would be like you could take that as a blueprint, go talk to AI about the different databases and different things that you would want to use, but it's kind of all the same thing. You would have an S3 bucket where you would have that information. And in that bucket, it would have like metadata and stuff like that. And then you also might have a database because you want to do other things. What those other things are, I wouldn't be able to say off the top of my head right now. Miss Indie Author, everything good? Was this hopefully an okay session? I appreciate you for attending.
It was awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I have. Do you have let me put the YouTube channel here. Of course, all of these are recorded and then after they're available, all of these are up on YouTube. Right now, I'm not doing any like hard edits on it on the videos. I'm just like uploading them. I will do some edits and make some cuts. It won't be anything super crazy. Maybe like an intro, outro, some other things in between. But like this is all a premise because I'm gonna be releasing like a very big challenge, and then I'm more than likely gonna do this again, but from a project standpoint. Like so, and I'll probably do that actually live, where like people are just able like to actually chat and stuff. Not that I don't want to have anybody on stage, but these are more just really hands-on type things. So the last two I've been I don't want to say lenient, but my goal is because a lot of the people that come and talk to me already pay for Claude, do not use Claude Code. So really having them in some of the other videos you'll see, like we're walking people through setting up Claude Code, making sure it's set up so they actually can interact and walk away and leave with something. But I do understand some of these you might not be able to. It could be depending on pricing, even though I'm trying to make sure I have like a coupon code for anything you do need to pay for. But all of these are supposed to be more interactive if you haven't played with something and you do want to participate. The next one that I'll do will be like a live where it's like an actual project I'm going to deliver, maybe from somebody like who actually paid me, a friend who has an idea, or me getting like some information off Reddit or something from an idea somebody wants to build. But yeah, if that's it, you guys, I appreciate you guys joining on a Sunday. You definitely didn't have to come. Feel free to share this, or if you want to send me a message on another topic that you want me to do, I'm super open for it. So you guys have a wonderful day. Don't work too hard. And yeah, Philip, later today I will add the rest of the days throughout the 28th. Technically March 1st, because I started this on February 2nd, the first Sunday. I didn't do anything. So we'll go over one day into March 1st, but I will add the rest of the days after today of the other platforms that we'll be playing around with. I know Vappy's on there. I think I'm going to add Live Kid. And then for the voice, because I really am experienced, I'm just waiting for some responses. I do play around with a lot of other platforms, but I have some friends that I think that use some of those platforms more than me, for example, like retail, and then come in there and talk about those and differences and stuff like that as well. But yeah, I don't want to hold you guys up any longer. Once again, I appreciate you guys and enjoy your Sunday and have a good one. Bye.